As most of y'all have heard, Steph Curry signed a one-year extension worth just over $62 million. It keeps him under the 2026-27 season. I've covered this topic even before this extension, and just looking at the Warriors, where they were going, them not making the playoffs, I asked, is this a championship team? And even went as far as to say, should they consider trading Steph Curry? Now, there's going to be a lot of people who think that's crazy, and Stephen A definitely disagrees with that, to say the least. You'll hear in the clips that I played. But it was just me exploring all the ideas and possibilities moving forward. You still have this guy that is of high value at 36. Would you want to get as much as possible in return for that? And then on top of it, have him go out and really try to compete for a championship while he still can before he retires. I think about Kobe in his last year with the Lakers. It would have been awesome if he was trying to score 60 points in a playoff game rather than just a meaningless one against the Utah Jazz, where it doesn't really matter in terms of playoff implications. And in this clip, Stephen A alludes to maybe issues with players not wanting to play with Steve Kerr. He doesn't actually say that outright. It definitely does sound, though, like he's at least implying something indirectly. All right, without further ado, here we go. Let's get into it.
But one thing that the Warriors have been doing since really last winter that, really should be paid attention to is their big game hunting. They, in one of the strangest stories of the last year in all of sports, if you ask me, if you remember, guys, the Warriors tried to trade for LeBron James at February's trade deadline. Now, it didn't get anywhere, but that was interesting. Then, over the summer, they tried to trade for Paul George. And when that didn't work out, they couldn't make a deal. They tried to trade for Lauri Markkanen. So they are absolutely big game hunting. Now, big game hunting and big game landing are two different things.
Why couldn't they get Paul George? Why can't they get another superstar to pair with Steph Curry, especially in the aftermath of Kevin Durant's departure? Maybe you didn't feel the need to have anybody. I get that part, because Klay Thompson's Klay Thompson, and I still believe in that brother, by the way. And Draymond is Draymond. As far as I'm concerned, people better open their eyes, wake up as a future Hall of Fame player. Scoring ain't everything. But I'm still looking at the organization as a whole, specifically Steve Kerr. And I'm saying, how come we can't get this brother any additional help? Draymond, the point forward that he is, the vocal leader that he is, the facilitator that he has proven to be, the defensive stalwart he has proven to be. Why can't you get guys to play with those two guys?
Let me answer Stephen A's question. There's probably people who are wondering the same thing. Let's take it back to when the Golden State Warriors won their last championship. Andrew Wiggins looks like a star in the NBA Finals. Klay Thompson is not as good as he once was, but he still did his role and helped in getting that championship for them, helping. Jordan Poole is an up-and-coming player, young guy with a lot of talent. Steph Curry's still playing great. He gets his Finals MVP. There's a lot of optimism about the future moving forward and the core that they have. As a result, at least at that time, you're not thinking about, we got to get this player and that player. You have your pieces, or so it seems. Now, as time shortly went on, you see that Wiggins is not looking like the exact player that we once saw in the NBA Finals. Klay Thompson is still struggling a bit. You have Jordan Poole, that whole situation with him and Draymond Green. He ends up leaving. And now what happens is you're seeing holes in the ship. The team is not looking as attractive as it once was. And then what makes it worse is you're so heavily invested with these big contracts. Wiggins got a fairly large contract. Draymond, Steph Curry obviously does. They end up getting Chris Paul. That was another big contract. And it's a lot of money spending, but there's not really results happening in terms of a championship. So guys are not probably willing to even take a pay cut to come there and try to win if they see that it's not working out. And this is a huge reason why I believe Klay Thompson ended up leaving. There was already issues, the money, and taking a pay cut, and then on top of it, they're not already winning. And to me, him leaving after winning 4 championships and the brotherhood that they had, I believe he would have took less money if he truly thought, this is still a championship core. We could still get a ring. I'll put whatever thoughts and pride I have to decide, let's go get some championships. But since that didn't look like it was in the future of the Warriors, he said, all right, let me go to the Dallas Mavericks. Also, the point about Draymond Green being a Hall of Famer, scoring isn't everything. Stephen A is absolutely right on both of those points. However, Draymond Green is not quite the same player that he once was. He's not somebody who's in his prime. So I personally think there's players who are looking at the team saying, well, we need more pieces. All there is Steph Curry. I can't win with just me and Steph trying to play hero ball.
for Paul
That's
George
true.
was not a price that the Warriors were willing to meet. And the price that the Jazz were sort of dangling out there for Lauri Markkanen was a higher price than the Warriors were willing to pay. And I'll just clarify it. The Warriors don't want to give Brandon Podziemski. They view Brandon Podziemski, he's not anywhere near the exact same player as Klay Thompson. They're very different in terms of their styles and sizes and everything. But they sort of see Podziemski as the replacement for Klay Thompson. They want him to shoot 8, 10 three-pointers a game. They see that. They have deemed him untouchable. And after deeming him untouchable, that has made it hard to make a deal. A key player to watch for them is Jonathan Kuminga. He is in the middle of contract extension talks right now. The Joe Lacob and that ownership group and Mike Dunleavy, their general manager, are out there looking to really add to this team. They have scaled back their spending. They've reduced their luxury tax bill by something in the neighborhood of $150 million this year. There's no doubt that their spending is down, but that doesn't mean that they won't continue to spend.
Anybody who, from the Golden State Warriors organization, who allows Steph Curry to ever leave, should be banned from the state of California and banned from the NBA. Whatever it is, he's underpaid.
I like Brandon a lot. 21, shot creator, three-point shooter, got a decent dribble, play make a little bit, play some defense. I could see why they're looking at him like, yo, you could be that Klay Thompson quote-unquote replacement. They still got Jonathan Kuminga after butting heads with Steve Kerr, or that's what the reports were. It looks like he got a bigger role in the offense and he took advantage of it. So they have pieces, but the thing is, you can't have it both ways. In order to develop these young guys, get the most talent out of them, you have to give them the keys, go in a rebuilding situation, and let them see what they could do. This is partly why they lost to Jordan Poole. They valued that Draymond Green relationship a lot more, and totally understandable. He helped the team win championships, and maybe he would have done even better had he stayed with the Warriors under their tutelage as opposed to trying to go out there and do it on his own in Washington. Maybe he gets better. We'll see. Even Wiseman, that was another player that they had a lot of potential with. He's with the Pistons. We'll see what he does. I'm just bringing this up that if you're trying to develop Brandon, you got to look at all the pieces that you had and where it went wrong. And that's because they were still trying to keep the core moving and get a championship, which makes perfect logical sense if you're still at the top of your conference contending for a title. This is not the case with the Warriors. The Stephen A's point about Steph Curry being underpaid and it doesn't matter what you give him, that is true. Signing him back is like an investment. I've said that before, where you keep him, it's good for business. Warriors fans love him. I understand that side of the coin in terms of, now you don't let Steph Curry go. This is a business move for your brand. I totally get that. I wanted to put that out there.
This is Stephen A. Smith you're talking to. So I'm going to ask you again. I know that the Golden State Warriors are trying to curve back their spending with all of those money, with all of those dollars Joe Lacob spent throughout the years. I was asking about a desire to play for Steve Kerr. Is that direct enough?
I think all the answers have been answered because he signed that contract yesterday.
I want to talk about Steph Curry, though, but I got you.
This was the most intriguing part about this whole conversation. The fact that Stephen A brought it up again, this time even more direct, about his assertion with the desire of guys wanting to play for Steve Kerr. And then the response that Brian Windhorst gave was even more intriguing, because I think he's very smart enough to know that Stephen A wasn't talking about just Steph Curry. And the fact that he left that answer as it is, almost like he didn't really want to get into it, I'm taking a mental note of that. I find that to be very interesting. I wonder if this has to do with the whole Jason Tatum and Steve Kerr situation, him not playing Tatum that much on their run to the gold medal in the Olympics. And this is a conversation that Stephen A has brought up a lot, that whole dynamic between those two. Anyways, let me know what you think about this whole debate that they had with Steph Curry signing the contract, the Warriors moving forward with trying to get a championship. You agree with the points that I was making, questioning where they're going and how they're going to rebuild the team with the young guys. Let me know everything that you're thinking. I would love to know. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Hit me up in the comment section. Salute for listening, and peace.